Good morning and happy Saturday. I'm your co-host Taina.
And I am your co-host Noelia.
And welcome to Let's Keep It a Bean.
Dollar make that cash, bitch.
On today's podcast, we're gonna talk to you guys about friendship, what a real friendship is like, what a toxic friendship is like, how to label your friendships.
I think we're also going to talk about meaningful friendships. We're going to talk about a lot about what it is to be a good friend, what it is to be a bad friend, when it's time to get new friends. I think we're just really going to touch a lot upon friendships. I think in our mind this is going to be a two-parter because I feel like friendships is something that's important and it's a really heavy topic, and it's a form of relationship that I think does not get the respect or emphasis on like talking about as the way it deserves to be.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about the whole scale of friendship. Like we're gonna try to cover everything. And obviously this is just our input on friendship. If you guys would like to comment or let us know what you think about a certain subject, or maybe if you have a different perspective on it,
Your own friendships.
let us know. Because me and Taina have been friends for over 10 years, and we're gonna base it off what we've experienced between me and her, but also like our high school friends, our college friends, and our home friends.
Right, so starting it off, I had gone on Reddit and I looked at a couple things that I thought would be interesting to talk about.
Okay.
But before we even get into that, what to you, Noelia, is a close friend? A good, like, what is the difference between a friend, someone you know, an acquaintance, and like a best friend?
Okay, so I think it's really hard for me personally to distinguish what's a friend, an acquaintance, or let's say even a work friend. So for me, a best friend is someone who you don't have to see every day. This is someone who you may have known for a really long time. I feel like sometimes it really differs. Like you can have a friend who you've been friends with for like 10 years, but then again you could have just met somebody in college and that can be considered your best friend. Someone who's real. Someone who's gonna tell you the truth. Someone who has your
Best interest at heart always.
Exactly. An acquaintance is really someone who you're cool with, but you're not telling this person your life problems. And I feel like it's really important for people to
Distinguish
the two. Yeah, so what do you think a best friend is versus a turn-up friend?
I feel like a best friend is that's someone that you really like indulge in. You know what I'm saying? Like as we're best friends, like we tell each other a lot of things. I'm able to be myself in ways that's different from other types of friendships that I have. I feel like a turn-up friend is someone that you're really cool with. I mean, that's usually the person you're talking shit about your man with or your ex or whatever it is. And that's the type of person that you go out with, you get lit with. It's just a turn-up buddy. I feel like there's also like, when you even think of that, there's like your work friend. Like you were saying, like,
yeah.
I feel like you got real cool with your coworkers. You spend so much time with them, but like, I feel like it's like an unwritten rule of coworker friends. Like once you leave the job, unless y'all are like kicking it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's times to go.
Yeah, I honestly, that's what I mean by like I don't know how to really distinguish them well, because with my coworkers, like every place that I've worked at, or most of the places that I work with, I always get mad cool with the people I work with. Like,
Always,
we always get talking mad shit, we've been laughing, having a ball while I work. But then if one person has to, be out, kind of just stop communicating like with each other unless you guys are really like chilling afterwards.
Right. I feel like too, you really got that. I don't know for you, but I always got that work friend that I smoke with.
No, not really a smoker.
All right, well, I am. I love having the work friend that you roll up with after work. After that long ass shift, you're like, all right, let's hit this blunt.
That's a vibe.
Period.
When it comes to friendship, and you have a work friend, or let's even say a school friend, someone who you study with, you guys are on this parallel where you guys are both working towards the same thing. Like you guys are both working toward that paycheck, towards that degree. And when one person is going to quit or is going to graduate, you guys end up going in different directions and stop being friends or stop communicating, that doesn't mean that you're not cool with that person still. Because you can still be cool with that person. It's just that you guys aren't going on the same line anymore, and I feel like that's okay. You guys are gonna end up separated.
Yeah,
If that makes sense. That's how I look at it.
I think for me personally, I have a really good connection. Well, let's get into it, right? Because I feel like it depends on the type of school you go to, right?
Okay.
So I feel like, for instance, for me, the school that I'm into for most of my time, I live with my friends. You know what I'm saying? So the friendships that I have with these people, like that I studied with, that I grinded with, these people that I feel like even when I leave school, it's hard for me to separate from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a difference between going to an on-campus versus an off-campus school.
And those type of friends.
I feel like so if you guys didn't know, my first year I went to on-campus and I lived in dorm there. And then the last 3 years I went to a school that was off-campus, and it was just a different vibe in general. But the people who I used to live in dorm with, like, we were just way closer.
Yeah.
It was like family at that point, but off campus it's just like, oh, these are just people I'm gonna study with, and then you kind of just fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like that class friend. You end up in the same class.
There's always that one class friend you turn into that person like, yo, did you do the homework?
Right. Did you study for this? You did the quiz already? What answers did you get wrong?
What answers did you get? Send me them all.
And send me them all.
So
you're a real ass school friend. If you do the quiz first, I gotta be give or take. One person gotta do it one time. But if you a school friend and you send me your quiz answers, you're a real one. Shout out to you.
UMass is not gonna want to hear this, but that's a fact.
Y'all taking all my money. Fuck y'all. I got my degrees.
Speaking of money, is Biden gonna give us our check?
Right. Where's my 10K? Me and my school friends need that.
Where's my 20K? Yo, I'm waiting for that. I already applied. They said I was gonna get approved. Just waiting for it to come through.
I'm waiting for the cap to stop.
For real. Yo, well, I thought, so I owe a certain amount. Thank God, I owe less than 20K. I thought they were gonna send me the 20K and be like, alright, the rest, have fun.
No.
It's not like that.
No, they sent me what you owe. She thought she was about to get a refund.
I thought I was gonna go to the store afterwards.
No. No. Personally, for me, I love my school friends. My school friends, they're cool. Do they piss me off? Yes. I feel like your school friends also piss you off more than your at-home friends because you spend so much time with them. Like, I don't think I could live with anybody else. Like, I live with my school friends because I basically, that friendship was forced because I had to live with them. You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
That's how you lose a lot of friends too.
What do you mean?
Like, there are a lot of people that you live with on campus and you end up hating those people because of how they live or they're just around you too much and it's easy, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. It's like if you guys went to high school together, for example, and then you're like, okay, we're gonna dorm together, and you end up not fucking with the way that person goes about like their cleanliness or, you know,
maintaining
or what they do. You know, we can really get into that, but that really sucks. Like when you're gonna go and think that this high school friend is gonna be someone who you can really live with, and then it turns out being the opposite.
It's the opposite, and it's usually the opposite. I feel like.
Yeah, usually, unless you guys are like really buddy,
and you know everything about that person pretty much. I mean, I think roommates is like the perfect place to start with friendship. Like, I feel like to have a roommate, you have to have some type of level of friendship to be able to do that. Like, personally for me, I had a roommate 1 year. I wasn't really her friend. I would say she was definitely in that acquaintance box. Like, we didn't really talk. I didn't really see her, but like if she needed alcohol, like I was plugged, and like if I needed her to do something, bring snacks or whatever it was from the dining hall, like she would do that. But that type of like roommate friendship, it never really got past acquaintance, and I feel like that really has to do with just like if you guys have the same vibe. We did not have the same vibe, so it didn't really work.
She used to call me like, bro.
Nah.
Come through.
I used to kick her out for my friends to come over.
No, she was a character. I had 2 roommates. I actually lived in a triple, and the first 2 girls that I lived with, we got along at first, but then you get to see people's true colors, and you're like, alright, like there's no reason why there should be an issue, and you shouldn't be able to come up to your friend or your roommate like, oh, like, hey, can you do this in the third, or I felt this in this way, instead of like going off and like reporting it to the fucking dean or doing some weird shit like that. Like that shit's just weird.
It's definitely weird.
That's weird.
And you know what's weird? If that's your friend too, you live with them. Why would you
Yeah.
want to create a space of tension, a space of like, I don't know, like awkwardness, uncomfortableness? Like, if you did something like that to me where you can't even come to my face, you immediately go to the next step. Like, we're never gonna be cool. And I live with you. I wake up
Yeah.
with you. I go to sleep with you every single day. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. So to tell you guys like a funny story, there was one roommate who me and her we actually really did get along, but when she first moved in, she was like super sour, and I was like, nah, like this girl's gonna be my friend. Like there's no reason why I'm gonna have another roommate who I don't get along with. Like she's gonna be my friend. So I was like really pushing her. I was like, so where are you from? What's this? What's that? Kept asking her questions, and she was just being sour with me. But for me, like I like a challenge. I thought that shit was funny. But me and her, we ended up really being cool. It's just that some people have like this shell, and you really need to like try to like knock them down for you guys to be friends. I'm team new friends.
I'm definitely team new friends. I love making new friends.
I love making new friends.
I also love blending my friends. Like I love, like Noelia, for example, I would consider her my at-home friend. And when I wanted to do a lot of stuff this summer, especially because I had just graduated, I was like, well, I want to always bring my school friends. And I always bring my at-home friends who are in my different friend groups together. And I was like,
yeah,
fuck it, we're all gonna come together. I love all my friends, and I want all my friends to get along because it's more fun when you're in a big ass group and we all get lit, which we have done together. And I think personally, like the friends that I have are people that you can really just fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Noelia, she just gets along with people. Like when she's there, it's a vibe. My other friends, I feel like they be vibing. Some of them are a little standoffish, but they're vibes. They're vibes.
It's alright though. Can be a little bougie, why not?
Right.
So let me give you a scenario.
All right.
So let's say you have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You've known them for let's say 2 years,
Okay.
and you notice that you're constantly texting them first. And when you text them, like they respond, like you guys have good conversation, but you notice that you keep texting them first, and then one day you're like, all right, I'm just not gonna text this person 1st and see where it goes, and that falls into you guys not ever talking. Would you consider that a friend? How would you look at that situation?
I think I would have to evaluate what it is that I'm doing with that person.
Yeah.
What are the type of scenarios I'm in with this person where I'm considering them my friend. If I am in, I was going out with that person, like we had said, like if they're more of like my turn up friend, I think that if you're noticing that your turn up friend, you're the only one hitting them up to turn up, that's a little weird because turn up friends should bounce off. But I think that if this is someone who you've shared, space with, time with, and you're constantly hitting them up, I think that you have to evaluate like your place or your position in that person's life. And sometimes, you're either higher than you think you are, or you're not anywhere where you think you are. And it is what it is. I mean, if they haven't done nothing wrong to you, if they just don't really look for you the way that you look for them, it may not be that person doesn't fuck with you or whatever it is. It's just you're not the priority that you are. And you should make yourself the priority if that's the case.
Yeah. What if you really thought that was your friend though? Like you really thought that you and this person got down and you guys just stopped communicating, like
then that person is just not a good friend.
I agree.
They're not a good friend. If I'm always looking for you and you don't look for me, or you don't look for me when you need me, you're not my friend. You're taking advantage of me and I don't like that.
Shaking my head. One thing that I've learned with friendship is that some people don't have the same energy or levels that you do. And what I mean by that is I can have five levels of energy and you can have 10 levels of energy. I've already used my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, but you still got 10. Like you are still outgoing, you're still able to party, you're still able to go out. But me, like those 5 levels of being social have ran out.
Yeah.
And you're like, alright, well, I want to chill. You want to chill with me, but I'm like, I don't have that energy inside of me, and
that social
really,
battery. That's a real thing.
And that can really like fall under like mental health and fall under just like how that person's personality is. So sometimes like you shouldn't take it personally, but if you notice that it's really consistent, you should take it personally. Like you really want to ask yourself, like how we were saying, is this a good friend or not? And if you notice that you're consistently hitting this person up and they're just ignoring you, fuck them.
All right. So what do you think? What would you consider to be a good friend? Like, what is a good friend to you? And what from that is a good friend? But what's a good like best friend? Like that's two different things too. You know, I have people who are my friends that I'm close with, I respect. But then I have my best friends, and I feel like that level of expectation changes the higher type of friendship you are.
Okay. Well, personally, I feel like a best friend is someone who you can really tell your life problems to. I feel like there's some things that you should keep to yourself. Maybe if it's like family or financially even. Some things should be kept to yourself. Like you shouldn't be telling everybody everything, even if they're your friends. But with a best friend, it's like if something's happening in a relationship or something is really hard happening, you can share that with a best friend. A best friend is someone who also, you don't have to see them every day for them to be considered your best friend, because even if you guys don't talk for like 2 or 3 weeks, for whatever reason, but when you guys get back, it's like if you guys have
nothing changed.
Yeah, it's like if nothing changed. Best friend is really someone who's respectful, who's loyal, someone who has your best interest at heart. And I don't know, like for me, I have high standards for my friends, and I only really have 2 best friends, and I hold them to a very high standard because that title is very important to me. I'm gonna ask you, like, what do you think a best friend is, and then we can just go on and talk about the title underneath it, which is
of course.
So, what do you consider like a best friend? Like, what qualities they have to have?
I feel like a best friend has a lot to do with what you're saying, but I feel like to really wrap that up, a best friend really has to bring you peace of mind. Like, I feel like a best friend is someone that you have to come with, and that energy that you have like really connects to the point where like that person can really give you peace of mind. Like, personally for me, my best friend or my best friends are people that when I'm in my highest, my lowest, the middle, whatever it is, like I'm always at a peace of mind. And like I can talk to them about anything. They have a high level of respect towards me, towards themselves. And I feel like that is important. I think another aspect of being my best friend is that our values align. Like, I feel like it's hard, and some people try to make friendships work, but your viewpoints on things are just too different. And I feel like it's okay if that is the case, but personally for me, my best friend, the things that I value, the things that I hold high to myself, have to also be things that they do that for themselves as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that.
That's the only way to build that genuine, like, I feel like foundation of a friendship. You know what I'm saying?
I really like how you said that your best friend is really there with you when you're up here, when you're down here, when you're in the middle, because that's how you really see who your true ride or dies are. And when it comes to just friends, they can be considered a turn-up friend, or they can be a friend who you're just going on vacation with, or you just different levels of friends. But that best friend is gonna be with you no matter what.
When you have a best friend, I just feel like people kind of use that word loosely, right? Like, that's my bestie.
Yeah, especially when you're like in high school.
Right, everyone's my best friend. I feel like there are stages of best friends, right? Because in every friendship, you're gonna mature, right? And you can have a best friend when you have a best friend in elementary school. You have a best friend in middle school. But I don't think a best friend really becomes meaningful until you're in high school and until you're like at a different type of maturity where you're able to really think about another person's point of view and care about that other person's point of view.
That's facts. Just like the other day, right? Me and you, we got into this, I wouldn't say an argument. It was more like a discussion. But we had different viewpoints, and I was like, no, like, you're not understanding. But then the next day, we literally spoke about the subject again, and it still felt a little heated.
We're stubborn.
We are, like, it still felt a little heated. But I was just like, okay, so I can agree, or I can see that you mean this by that, and I can agree with this viewpoint, but do you agree with this and with that?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, y'all, but we were just like, okay.
She's talking about the specific situation. One thing she's trying to say, you correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Each person doesn't have to be right. That's one thing. That's first of all. I don't think it was. I would say discussion is perfect. It was just that it was like a misunderstanding. Like we're having a little weird communication.
Yeah.
But the reason that we ended up even going back to it was because we felt like it was important to make sure at the end of the day, like what our perception was heard and understood.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though
you know exactly what I'm
no, I
talking
know
about.
exactly what you're talking about. But even after though, like when we finally had understood, because first of all, y'all gotta understand, there's more than one way to say shit.
True.
100%. Like I can have something to say, and the way that I'm saying it, if my friend is not understanding it, it's really up to me to try to think of how I'm trying to say it in a different way to make them understand that. If I have an intention in my head, I cannot expect that my friend just fully understands that in my head. That's not realistic.
Yeah, because some people register certain words.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't understand something that you're saying, so for example, if one of you guys are having a little argument with a friend, and you're like, okay, like this is my best friend or this is my friend, and they're not understanding where I'm coming from, try using different words. Try saying it a different way.
Examples. Elaborate.
Maybe they just don't understand the way that you're saying it, but if you kind of move around it differently,
oh hell no.
maybe if you say it a little differently, they might understand.
I feel like too, for best friends, that's another thing about it. Like you have to want to hear that. If I'm gonna talk to you about something and obviously you're trying to express something that's important to me, but I'm just like, no, you said this thing, that was too much for me, I don't wanna hear it, and you become that like hit that roadblock, then that's really not your best friend. Like your best friend should want to try to be understanding, even if we have to go back the next day and talk about it. Like
exactly. Sometimes you don't want to hear it. Sometimes you're like, alright, like
not
today. But you actually, if it's an important topic, maybe you should go back and.
Or first, if you know it's important to like whoever it was.
Exactly, because it can mean something more to the other person than it does to you. Like for you, you could be like, alright, I really don't care. But for me, it's like, damn, that topic, like it means a lot to me. So I want you to understand where I'm coming from.
I feel like that feeds a lot into like respect.
Yeah.
Respect for that person.
Respect or loyalty in friendship? Which one would you pick?
I must have to go with respect. Respect all the way, bro. You can't have loyalty without respect. That's a fact.
You can't have loyalty
without
respect. Alright.
How do I expect you to be loyal to me and always have my best interests, have my back if you don't respect me? That's unrealistic.
No, that's facts. It's like, I feel like respect and loyalty, they can kind of coincide together. But loyalty is like, if I'm in the room and they're talking about me, are you gonna defend me? I feel like for me that's what loyalty is. But respect is like, they're talking about you in the room, I'm not fucking with none of y'all. I'm getting up and I'm leaving because I respect my friend and y'all not about to disrespect her.
That's a fact. I feel like that's a great like way to even segue into like how a friend is, because the type of loyalty and respect I expect out of a regular friend, like just my friend, I don't expect my friend to have that loyalty. Like you're talking shit about me, you either defend me or leave the room. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you're my friend. Like maybe as my friend you tell me what they said.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna sit there and wait until they're
done. Wait till they're done. But I'm not gonna address that or whatever. I'm gonna just let you know. But don't tell them that I told you.
Yeah,
you feel me? That's somebody who's just your friend. Like, okay.
Don't tell them, please.
Don't tell them. Exactly. Like, I don't want my name in it. Like, da 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 da. But
corny.
That for them is even like, that's just that level of respect. Like, first of all, you respect the fact that they even told you. Because at the end of the day, that person don't owe that same loyalty to you that your best friend do. So the fact that you told me, let me know, I think is commendable. I feel like if you are my friend and you hear people talking shit about me and then I find out later that you was there and you never told me, you're corny. And you're not my friend. You're bumped down.
bumped down to
acquaintance.
So what's an acquaintance?
An acquaintance is somebody that you know. It's somebody maybe that you say hi to. Somebody that you just have like a mutual little like, it's really like a hi and bye type thing. I feel like maybe a little chit chat. How are you?
Small talk.
Yeah, real small talk. So when you kind of also have like that fake laugh. that's my fake laugh, guys.
I think it's really important to distinguish whether it's an acquaintance or a friend or a turn-up friend, because you can really get yourself hurt.
Or you can really overshare.
One thing that I've learned is you can't take the things that you said back.
Mm-mm.
So that acquaintance or that little friend, you gotta be careful what you tell them because they can go out and tell the world. I used to have what I'm gonna call an acquaintance
Mm-hmm.
who I would say something to them, and next thing you know, everyone would know about it, and I'm like, how did that information come out? So I tested them one day. I told them something, and see if they were gonna go around and tell other people, and that's exactly what they
How
did.
old were you when you had this master plan?
Oh, girl, this was young.
That's
was
real
like,
slick of you.
I was in high school, girl. This was like middle school, high school, around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that shit's just fake, phony.
Fake as hell.
What else you got on this list?
Let me think. I think we should talk more though about this, like respecting with your friend, right? Because I feel like a lot of people have this understanding of respect, but everyone has to understand like that's my own understanding. Like what you may find disrespectful as my friend or as me as a person, my personality, I may not find that disrespectful. Like there could be a joke for you
Yeah.
that's a crossing the line. But I'm like, oh damn, I'm joking. Like I didn't mean it that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But that is something that you have to respect about your friend. You know what I'm saying? There are things that, like when it comes to respecting your friend in general, like you have to understand that at the end of the day, there may not be things that you understand, but if you respect that person, you're just gonna do it, or you're just gonna be okay with it and accept it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying. Like, for example, for me, I like it when somebody opens the door for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're always going in front of me and not opening the door, that's like disrespectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like little things. But if you don't tell your friend, like,
I like when you do.
I like when you do this, or you should do this more, your friend's never gonna know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just little things, and sometimes it's awkward to even say it, but you gotta say it.